Hi, we're talking today about SAP Business Objects 4.3 SP3 and joined by Patrick Sims of SAP. Patrick, glad to have you here today.
Thanks, Allan.
So we had a session recently where we were talking about this broader topic of what's coming in 4.3 SP3. And you covered off a slide that discussed some of the key themes about SP3 and what's coming. Tell us a bit more about that.
Sure. Thanks, Allan. Good to be back. So the three key themes that we have for Service Pack 3, and it applies not just to Webby, but also to the BI platform in general, are increased productivity. So how can we enhance the production of the report document writer? So things that we've changed there. Extending possibilities. So that's really more about kind of the infrastructure a little bit. So, OData advancements, data source advancements, things like that. And then improving usability, which I always think is a key thing, especially for Webby. Especially with 4.3, we now have this new user experience and new UI that we're focusing on. And within the usability piece, I have a couple of, extra cool things I think are great. First is an incremental enhancement to prompts, right? So we often get comments and requests about how to better do input controls and prompting and filtering. And so what we've done here now is for prompts, we actually have a new wizard or manager, if you will, and it lets you do things, including like adding hints to the prompts for people. And so it's a great advancement for you to really more rigidly control, but more importantly, less rigidly, enhance the experience for the not so typical end user in terms of how they can use prompts for their content. Another incremental advancement that we have, which is something I always think is so huge, which is we've enhanced the hyperlink workflows. So anything we do from a right mouse click perspective in Webby against a chart or a table is what we call the context menu for that object. And so within the context menu, we now have the option for hyperlinking to another document within the document you're on or to a URL. And we've now incorporated things like if you're choosing another document, it'll open up the browsing documents window for you. If you are going within the document, you have more rigid, more ability to control what you're doing there, and the same with the URL. And so all of that is done with a nicer wizard. Again, for those who know what they're doing, if I do the moving to another document, for example, it will generate the open code document for me, or open document code, excuse me. And so from there, I can actually change the parameters if I know what I'm doing, but I don't have to if I don't need to. So it's just a much simplified capability for something I think is a very important use case. And finally, again, a lot of these come from your requests. And I've seen requests for Trellis charts for years now. And so finally now we have, basically it's kind of a checkbox for Trellis on all of the key things you'd want to do a Trellis chart for. So anything from a pie chart, which I know, of course, is not the best BI chart out there, to line charts, time charts, etc. So all of these things, we now have Trellis capability, which again, not a huge thing, but it's been your request, and I love it too from an analysis standpoint. So that's kind of my extra cool things that I've seen in the release, Allan.
Well, that's great. And I know that what you've highlighted here is just a very small sampling of features that are coming in SP3, and more information I'm sure will be coming out about that. That release is scheduled for December of this year. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Well, users can look forward to that. Being on 4.3 is a key step in not only getting to new features, but preparing for the future, which is long
Absolutely.
and solid with some of the most important announcements that have come here lately. So we're glad about all of that. For upgrades, APOS has a variety of technologies that can help in not only simplifying and smoothing the upgrade, but preparing you for future-proofing your content and making it simpler to manage your platform once you get there. So I'll be glad to work with you on all of those kinds of things. So Patrick, thanks for the coverage today and other sessions that we've been doing on this very topic. And so users can look to those. But thank you for today.
Thanks, Allan. Thanks, APOS, too, for all that you guys do.